Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Should Be Painting. Today we are going to be talking about the Star Wars franchise being moved from to Atomic Mass Games and why this is both a big deal and not such a big deal. So first of all, if you are not familiar with any of these games, the Star Wars game X-Wing is a miniature game that's played with little spaceships on a 3-foot table that you move around, and it's a lot of fun. Star Wars Armada, which is also controlled by Fantasy Flight, is a fleet-size battle where you play Star Destroyers and Nebulon cruisers, again on a table. And then of course there is Star Wars Legion, which is a fully immersive tabletop miniature game similar to Warhammer 40k, but instead of Space Marines, you're playing with Stormtroopers. On the other side, you have Atomic Mass Games, is a subdivision of Asmodee, which by the way, so is Fantasy Flight, so we're gonna talk about that in a second, but they launched their skirmish game not too long ago called Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, many of you may be familiar with Fantasy Flight because of X-Wing and Star Wars and Armada. You also might be familiar with them because you like board games like Catan or Ticket to Ride or any of the Arkham horror games. And the bottom line is that Fantasy Flight is a studio of Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games is a studio of Asmodee, and Asmodee has made the decision to move the IP Star Wars related miniature games away from Fantasy Flight and to Atomic Mass Games. And this, I think, is for the better. Atomic Mass Games is focused on miniatures, they are focused on miniature games, whereas Fantasy Flight has been more focused on their board games, and I think that they are trying to consolidate things into one place where they can make better products. Now, from the outside, it's very difficult to see that Fantasy Flight and Atomic Mass Games are really the same company, so this isn't like a different company is coming in, swooping up X-Wing and taking it away from the beloved owners, and all of a sudden everything's going to change. On the other hand, it is a large parent company taking its different properties and putting them under the same house, hopefully in order to create an amazing studio. Why is this such a big deal? Well, if you've ever been to a convention like Adepticon, you will notice that the main gaming hall, which is usually a big giant room, particularly at Adepticon, not so much at Nova, Nova's a little bit more spread out, but at Adepticon there's a big giant room, and the majority of that room is taken up by, you guessed it, Games Workshop products. However, about 30 to 40% of that hall is taken up by Star Wars, specifically X-Wing. And in 2019, there was a huge amount of interest in Star Wars Legion, and Star Wars Legion is continuing to grow online. But the fact is that both the Marvel Crisis Protocol game, X-Wing, and the Star Wars games are not just moving people from Games Workshop, they are bringing new people into the hobby. And so by consolidating all of these games under Atomic Mass Games, both the titles Marvel and Star Wars, we may have a mega giant on our hands. This is not just a kill team or a Blood Bowl or some other sort of miniature game distraction that doesn't really take you away from your primary game, whether it's Flames of War or Warhammer 40k. We are talking about building a brand new audience. For those of you may know that both Josh and I are big fans of X-Wing. Sean and I are big fans of Armada, and I am a big fan of Legion, although I don't get to play it very often. Josh and I have really steeped ourselves into Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we have found it to be an excellent skirmish game with very tight, clean rules. It's very fun, it's very cinematic. It is a beauty of a game, actually. We really like it. Now, while their model development has been a little iffy, sometimes they have faces broken into 3 different pieces over the course of the 40 or so releases. They are starting to get better about that. Their actual price point per model is very high because you're spending $30, $40, $50 for 1 or 2 models in a pack. That's a lot of money when $30 or $40, $50 from Games Workshop will get you 5 Space Marines. But at the same time, for the average price of an entire Warhammer army, you can own the entire line of Marvel Crisis Protocol. So I leave that up to you. But the point is, Fantasy Flight is no longer in control of X-Wing, Armada, Legion, or really any Star Wars titles, and it's moving over to Atomic Mass Games, which is not earth-shattering news because they're both still controlled by Asmodee, again, the parent company, but it is going to put everything into one place and hopefully create much, much better games. Now, Atomic Mass Games has put out a couple press releases. They have said that they will respect the integrity of the games and they will respect the amount of money and the investment that people brought in, but that they will make necessary changes to the games in order to have what they believe is a fun, playable, thriving game. And I think that's respectable. I know Armada can use an overhaul. I don't know if Star Wars Legion needs an overhaul. I know a lot of people were upset about X-Wing 2.0, even though I really like X-Wing 2.0. But what I'm really hoping for, which is my prediction, is that Atomic Mass Games is going to come out with a skirmish version of Star Wars similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol, that's just all Star Wars heroes that you can play a skirmish game. And I really hope they do that. So if you were not aware of this consolidation of Star Wars and Marvel into one company, Atomic Mass Games, now you are, and you should pay attention to it because it has the potential, I think, to be even bigger than Games Workshop in a very short period of time. And why do I think that? Because it's Star Wars and Marvel. I mean, it's two of the largest recognized nerd name brands that are out there, and on top of it, it's bringing new players into the game space, not just redividing the existing players into smaller games or side games or other things. Obviously, this channel focuses a lot on Warhammer, a little bit on AOS, but mostly on miniatures. Josh and I do very much like Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we're going to be doing a bit more with that. But that is the news. Atomic Mass Games has amassed both the Marvel franchise and the Star Wars franchise, and now you know about it. Let's head on over to our computer to take a look at our 3 inspiring artists of the week, people who bring me inspiration and joy from their fantastic work, and I hope that you all had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving week. Hey everybody, and welcome to the office. We're going to take a look at the 3 featured artists this week that brought me inspiration and creativity, and I hope that they bring inspiration and creativity for you as well. All 3 this week are professionals in some capacity, in that they are professional painters or modelers or cosplayers, and we are starting out with DarkMetalPainter, and we are looking at Swordsman with Dog. And I have to say, right off the bat, my favorite part is the belly button. I'm gonna be honest, I really like the belly button. This is just absolutely tremendous work. I think it speaks for itself. We have just amazing non-metallic metals. We have incredible color blending and subtle object source lighting. The dog itself has an amazing facial expression. He's able to bring out emotion and sort of the scar coming out. I mean, this is just absolutely wonderful. It tells a story. It is a story, and it is the type of painting that makes me want to be a better painter and also makes me want to paint bulldogs. Moving right along, we are going to Scibor Monstrous Miniatures. This is a custom miniature house, but I saw these miniatures and I thought they were just so cool. They are dwarves on bears. Yep, dwarves on bears. That's what I said. Dwarves on bears. Not only is the painting absolutely incredible, but these are also really fun models for you to buy, and if you want to check them out, of course, I will have their purchase link in the bottom. These are custom sculpts, of course, and they are gorgeous. I just love everything about it. Thank you all so much for joining us this week on I Should Be Painting. Once again, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that you enjoyed our conversation about Atomic Mass Games amassing both Marvel and Star Wars franchises, and that Asmodee has moved their IP from Fantasy Flight to Atomic Mass. I also hope you found inspiration from our 3 artists this week. As always, remember to like and subscribe, hit that bell button so you never miss an update. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video and you are not a subscriber, you should absolutely subscribe. And if you would like to help us out, go ahead and share this video, like this video, or join our Patreon in the notes below. Join our Discord by joining our Patreon and have some conversations with us. And as always, we'll see you on the table.